All right, let's talk about it. Super Bowl week is here. The New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. This is going to be a grind out slobber knocker. And I'm just going to say this. There is a common denominator of both of these teams. They both have rejects on each side. Sam Darnold for the Seattle Seahawks was a first round lottery pick in the NFL draft, and then he became a journeyman for a brief period, and then he was with the Vikings and got dropped by the Vikings. Pretty much got released and then went to the Seahawks and now is in the Super Bowl. But the Vikings said they didn't want to pay him, so now Sam Darnold is now seceded. And I said this before. Sam Darnold going to the Super Bowl is a huge indictment on Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and not Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow made it to the Super Bowl. But on Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, it's a huge indictment on them. Y'all motherfuckers let Sam Darnold get to the Super Bowl before y'all. And then, like I said, Josh Allen, you shit the bed again. You shit the bed. You had the biggest opportunity to get to the Super Bowl and get it done. And also, I'm going to blame Josh Allen, and I'm going to blame Brandon Beane, the GM. You had opportunity after opportunity to make the team better at the NFL trade deadline or during the offseason. But you were so fucking arrogant. You think, oh, we just gonna keep what we have. They could have got a wide receiver during the trade deadline. They could have got something. But your ass got exposed in the playoffs. Now the Bills are sitting at home looking goofy as hell, because I'm just going to say this. Next year, the Ravens is going to be back in the playoff picture. And the Chiefs is going to be back in the playoff picture too. And guess what, Josh Allen? You're screwed. You're screwed. You're never going to the Super Bowl. This was the only opportunity. And you shit the bed. So let me get off Josh Allen. Sam Darnold, he's good. Let me talk about the reject on the Pats side. The Patriots side, Mike Vrabel, the coach. And Stephon Diggs. Oh, I forgot. Stephon Diggs on there too. Mike Vrabel was the coach of the Tennessee Titans. Everybody knew he was a top 10 coach in the league. Tennessee fired him because he wouldn't get rid of his coordinator. And then Tennessee fired Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel go to the Patriots, and now he's in the Super Bowl. Tennessee, you're so fucking dumb. Also, Stephon Diggs. He was with the Bills. Then he got traded to the Texans. And then the Texans was like, I'm going to just go ahead and trade him to the Patriots. And look at Stephon Diggs. He's in the Super Bowl. Look how many people is regretting the choices they made. Look at all the teams that's regretting all the bad choices they made on certain players. The Titans, the Texans, the Bills, the Vikings, hell, the Panthers, because the Panthers had Sam Darnold. It's about 5 or 6 NFL franchises that made moves with these particular personnels, and they rejected them, just threw them to the side because they think it wasn't worth it. But now, all those pieces come back in full circle. So this is a reminder, people. You never throw away good trash that you can reuse. I know that sounds kind of like left field, but hey, I remember somebody told me that. I'm like, wait a minute, good trash that you can reuse. And I see now some things you could reuse and make it better. So it is what it is. So I can't wait to watch the Super Bowl. My prediction is I think the Patriots is going to win. Mike Vrabel is an exceptional coach. He's a top 10 coach. He always has his teams prepared in the playoffs. And I always said this, when the Titans had Mike Vrabel, all they had to do was get rid of Tannehill and get a better quarterback. And I felt like the Patriots would have been Super Bowl contenders for years to come. They had the defense, they had Derrick Henry, they had the weapons on the offense with the wide receivers. They had everything. The Titans was a team that they only needed a quarterback. After the Titans made it to the AFC Championship and got their ass blown the fuck out, well, not really blown out, but they was down. They was up 27-10 and then let the Chiefs come back and whoop their ass. That day, if I was a GM, I should have just said, I'm getting rid of Tannehill and get a better quarterback. I would have traded Tannehill that offseason because all the Titans need was a quarterback that can make good decisions. That's all the Titans need. If the Titans would have made that one change, I think Titans would have been Super Bowl contenders for the next 2 or 3 years, at least. But the Titans were so stupid, they wanted to re-sign Tannehill because they felt like he was cheaper. But he was a middle-of-the-pack quarterback. Now, let's be real. Tannehill trash as fuck. I still think quarterbacks like Dak Prescott was better than him. Sam Darnold's better than him. Baker Mayfield better than Tannehill. I can name about 20 quarterbacks that's better than Tannehill. But that's all the Titans had to do was get rid of Tannehill. Let me get off the Titans. Also, Bill Belichick. Let's talk about Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick did not get selected into the Hall of Fame as a first ballot, which is a huge indictment on the Hall of Fame committee. It's a huge indictment. It's crazy work how a man who won 8 Super Bowls, 6 with the Patriots, 2 as a defensive coordinator with the Giants, have resurrected a dead Browns franchise in the 90s, and he won a playoff game with he actually won a playoff game with the Browns in the 90s. That's when the Browns been shit trash for 40 years. So they go to the playoffs maybe every 5 years. The Browns always had that 1 year they go to the playoffs. It's like every 5 years on average. But Bill Belichick, a man who's been coaching for almost 50 years, did not make it to the Hall of Fame because he did not suck the dick of the media, which is crazy work. He did not shake hands and kiss the babies. Bill Belichick was always a stern, stone-faced guy that always gave you minimal answers to the media, which is good because Bill Belichick is the type of person that he don't like to show his hand. And the reason why Bill Belichick was never, pleasing to the media, it wasn't that he didn't like the media, is he didn't want to say the wrong fucking thing and the media take it and twist it. That's why he always gave the media straight and boring answers, and the media hated that because he always gave straight and boring answers. And this is crazy. The media put their personal feelings into this and decided not to vote him in. I'm just be real. Bill Belichick should have been a unanimous First ballot Hall of Famer. Unanimous. But the crazy work is, out of 50 votes, he only got 40 out of the 50 votes. Which is crazy. Which is crazy. He should have got all 50 votes. And now this shaking up the Hall of Fame to a point now, the Hall of Fame committee gonna have to restructure their voting process and give it to unbiased media people who's not gonna put their personal feelings in the voting process. And I think when they do that, I think the Hall of Fame is gonna be better, because this is gonna make the Hall of Fame look bad, really look bad. Like I'm wondering if they're gonna do this to Tom Brady next year, because Tom Brady's up to be in the Hall of Fame next year. Tom Brady hasn't played a snap in 5 years. Next year will be his 5th year having played a snap in football. So next year, Tom Brady's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. And what's gonna be crazy next year, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick is gonna be inducted together. Now, if the Hall of Fame committee don't bullshit Tom Brady, it will be nice to see Tom and Bill Belichick to be inducted into the Hall of Fame together. So I just can't believe it. Even though Bill had his Deflate Gate and his Spy Gate controversies and all of that, let's just be real. He was winning Super Bowls before then, when all that shit happened, and he was winning Super Bowls after. That should not count against him. He was winning Super Bowls after the Spygate and the Deflategate. So it's kind of crazy how the media can change the trajectory of the sports world. Yes, the media should get some type of respect, but I felt like the Hall of Fame vote should be the players that's already in the Hall of Fame should have a vote. And I felt that should be the voting process. Give the vote to the former players that's already in the Hall. You take 50 people, you select 50 people, which is former Hall of Fame players, and then you give them the vote. And I bet you that's going to change, because when you give it to the media, shit like that happen. Like, look at Terrell Owens. They did this shit to Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens was supposed to be a unanimous Hall of Fame nod, but the bullshit with the quote unquote controversy on the side of the field and all that the media didn't like that. So now they're gonna have to change it. They're gonna have to change it. They're gonna have to change it. But yeah, this is sad. Also, let's talk about this NBA trade deadline. NBA trade deadline is coming up this Thursday. Giannis is still waiting to be traded. I think this year's NBA trade deadline, I think it's going to be very quiet. And here's what I think. I think Giannis will not be moved. I'll be shocked if he get moved this week. Because since Giannis signs with Rich Paul, all signs point to Giannis going to the Knicks. I know some people might say, "Oh, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. Yes and that and other." Yes, the fuck I do. You got to understand, Rich Paul is a deal maker and a deal closer. He's gonna get the shit done. It's a reason why Giannis fired his last agent and got Rich Paul, because Rich Paul's gonna get the shit done. Rich Paul could take an entity like Giannis and make Giannis super marketable. Because now Giannis, here's the thing. I said this before. Giannis playing for the Bucks. He fulfilled the promise. He He said he wanted to bring the Bucks to championship. He brought them one championship. He fulfilled the promise. They got the one championship. That's it. And I'm just gonna say this: since Milwaukee won that one championship ring, they've been lackadaisical since then. And that's usually the downside of a lot of small franchises. They win that one championship and they just take their foot off the gas because they feel like, we fulfilled the goal. We don't have to really be serious of building a team. All we got to do is just keep the team in playoff contention, which is sad. And I remember Gilbert Arenas said this one time in his podcast, that most teams, when they win that one ring, they take their foot off the gas. They just be like, all right, let's just get to the playoffs. That's it. And I think Giannis was tired of that. That's why I commend people like LeBron James that keep putting pressure on GMs, because LeBron knows the game. He knew that teams is going to take their foot off the gas after they win a championship. That's why LeBron realized, like, when he went to Miami woke him up, made him realize, wait a minute, I'm actually with a team that actually takes winning seriously. So when he had that experience in Miami, that's why LeBron carried that same type of competitiveness, like saying, hey, I'm all about winning. And people get mad at LeBron, talking about he ain't win like Jordan. You got to understand. Let's break this down. I love Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is my GOAT. I always tell people I don't have one GOAT. I have three GOATs. My three GOATs is Mike 1, Kobe 2, LeBron 3. And I'm always going to say that. But y'all have to understand, Michael Jordan, the first 3 years of his career, the Bulls was getting their ass spanked. It was always belt to ass. The Bulls was so bad one year, they even made the playoffs with a losing record at the 8th seed, and they played the Celtics and got their ass spanked. That's when Mike scored 63 on Bird. The Bulls was that bad in the 80s. They made the playoffs with a losing record. And then turn around, when Mike got Scotty in 1987, the Bulls was still, they became a playoff team. It took Scotty to develop and be an all-star for Mike to get over the hump. And then what people don't understand, the Bulls was a stacked team. Like, if you go into the 90s and if you look at the roster, like Horace Grant he's really a good power forward. If Horace Grant played on another team, Horace Grant would be a top 10 power forward in the league at that time. If he played on another team and was given the green light. BJ Armstrong was a decent point guard. If BJ Armstrong played on another team, he would be a good point guard also. If you look at these Bulls teams, they was low-key stacked. Let's talk about that 96 Bulls team. Dennis Rodman, he was the best defender in the league at that time. You had Luke Longley, he was the best big man from Australia. Tony Kukoc was like Luka Doncic in the 90s, but he came over to the Bulls. Ron Harper left the Clippers to go to the Bulls, and the year before he went to the Clippers, he was scoring like 20 a game, leading the Clippers into the playoffs. And then you have Steve Kerr. He was the best three-point shooter in the league, percentage-wise. You had all these moving pieces. The Bulls had a decent team. But you see, people don't look at it like that. Oh yeah, Scottie Pippen, multiple time All-Star. So Mike played with another Hall of Famer. So, but it took Mike to have a team around him. That's why I commend LeBron. And the reason why LeBron had to get a team, he had to stack the deck because of the fact the league had evolved. And LeBron realized that. Like, the league had evolved so much. Your six man is much as talented as the starting guard. So LeBron had to stack the deck. Like, people forget LeBron had to go through Boston in the 2000s just to get to the Eastern Conference Final. He had to go through Boston and Detroit for like 8-9 years. LeBron had to go through Boston and Detroit, and we talking about this. And the Detroit team with Chauncey, Rip, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. He had to go through that team. And then remember the early Boston Celtics teams when it was Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce, and then it was then Antoine Walker got traded, and then it was Paul Pierce by himself with a whole bunch of other pieces around with Al Jefferson and all of that. Yeah. And then what Boston got KG and Ray Allen. Yeah. People forget LeBron had to go through those teams. LeBron beat a couple teams. And remember, that Rising Bulls squad with a young Derrick Rose, with Kurt Heinrich, Luol Deng. Come on. And people forget another team that was cold in the East back then was that Magic's team with Dwight and Vince Carter and JJ Redick and Jameer Nelson? Come on. And remember, T-Mac, around that time, T-Mac left Orlando, went to Houston. Imagine T-Mac wasn't that injured and he stayed in Orlando and they still got Dwight. Then LeBron got a whole nother problem dealing with Dwight and T-Mac. Because remember, T-Mac left the same year they drafted Dwight from the Magic. If T-Mac would have stayed and they would have got Dwight, oh my God. LeBron would have never made it out the East. People forget those teams in the East was stacked. But everybody pay attention to the West. So, but like I said, I commend LeBron. He want to put pressure on these GMs. Even sometimes it's a little excessive. It's a little obsessive with how LeBron operate. It's a little narcissistic, but I understand he wants to win. So now look at Giannis. Giannis have put the pressure on the Bucks. The Bucks have exhausted all their assets and everything. But I'm gonna say this: Giannis should have left in 2022. After 2022, they should have left. And maybe in 2023, he should have left then. After they traded Drew Holiday. Let's be real. But it is what it is. I can't wait till the NBA trade deadline. My predictions is Giannis might not get moved this Thursday. I predict that the people that likely might get moved, somebody like Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. That might be the two people I think the Kings might move that from that perspective. Or I don't see the Lakers making a move, because the Lakers, if they want to get Giannis, they're going to have to they will have to sign and trade Austin Reeves and give up Rui and give up their first round picks for Giannis. I'll be surprised if the Bucks take that. But like I said, if the Bucks want to maximize their rebuild, trade Giannis to OKC this summer. Not in the deadline, this summer. Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about the current events that's going on. This your boy, Miss TV. I'm out.